If your teenager can charm a room but cannot keep a promise, you don't have a leader yet. Leadership education shouldn't produce impressive students. Small responsibility, honestly observed, tells you more than any title given to the kid. Every year, thousands of students in Singapore graduate with excellent results. And every year, the same question quietly follows them out the gate. Are they actually ready? I'm Ernest Tang. This is Beyond the Report Card. Let's go beyond. If your teenager can charm a room but cannot keep a promise, you don't have a leader yet. You have a performer. We tend to be proud of the confident child, the one who speaks up, who's comfortable in front of people, who looks like a leader. But confident and dependable are not the same thing. And a lot of parents are quietly proud of the wrong signal. Think of the last time your teen said they would do something. Did it really happen? Without you checking. That's very key. By the end of this video, you're going to have 4 concrete signs of real leadership to watch for at home, starting this week. Leadership education shouldn't produce impressive students. It should produce trustworthy ones. Here's the pattern I keep seeing. Parents and schools reward sometimes the loudest, most sociable, most visible child as the natural leader, but hand that same teenager a small task with no one watching. And very often they tend to underdeliver. Meanwhile, the quietly reliable one oftentimes get overlooked. Simply because they don't shout out, they don't announce themselves. When I was still with the Ministry of Education, I managed the student leadership portfolio in a primary school for a period. And thinking back, something stood out to me. The student leaders who got chosen, not all of them, some of them, weren't the strong, quiet ones. They were the vocal ones, the ones who spoke up, the ones who had something to say, the ones who had a certain presence around them. And yet, some of them weren't exactly the ones who were producing the best work for the leadership body which they were selected for, or holding the quality that we kind of expected from them. So, this video here is for parents of secondary school and upper primary children who want to raise a teenager others can depend on, not just one who looks the part. So, the purpose of student leadership isn't visibility, it is responsibility. Here are the 4 signs of trustworthy leadership that I want all of us to watch out for. 1. Reliability. They do what they're going to say they are going to do without any reminders. 2. Ownership. They admit mistakes without deflecting. 3. Honesty. They tell you the truth even when it costs them. 4. Follow through. They finish what they start, especially once it stops being interesting. We're going to walk through each one with a simple home example and one practical step you can start using this week. So, you honestly don't need a leadership program to begin. You only need one small task and one honest conversation with that teenager. Here's a Singapore example. Hand your teenager a responsibility for one thing for 1 month. Maybe it could be topping up the Wi-Fi bill, paying for it, the household e-selling cards, no reminders, and just watch what happens. That's the task this week. Giving him or her one small task, make sure it is low stakes, ongoing responsibility. It could be a pet, a bill, coordinating a sibling school pickup with 0 reminders, and just take a look, see the results of what happens. Small responsibility, honestly observed, tells you more than any title given to the kid. Here's the truth. Reliability is the trait we all say that we want to see in a leader. And of course, we want our leaders to be reliable. But we do struggle quite hard to measure this reliability on a consistent basis. It is built through repeated small completions and not one big successful one. It does get quietly undermined every time we finish the task that our teenagers tend to forget. It shows up clearest in the most unglamorous recurring duties, the really boring stuff. So I just have this one thing that I want to share with you, that there was a client that reached out to me on email recently, and he wanted my company to run a leadership program for his peer support leaders. The reason why he reached out to my company and the key that he wants us to build in the student peer support leaders is that they want to do the things and they're happy to do the things that are public facing, that they get recognition for, that is fun. But yet, when it is the boring, mundane, untold for, there is no celebration, when it's unglamorous, the peer support leaders tend to shy away. This is the thing that we need to work against. We need our leaders, we need to see reliability in our leaders. So we have to make sure that this task is recurring that we're giving to the kid. Make sure they do understand it and have them repeat the task over and over again. Reliability shows up in the repeated small successes, which are often mundane tasks that they have to do. And what is more, here is one great tip that I would like to tell you that I found myself. If these tasks, which are mundane, and the leader finds ways to improve it, you have found yourself a winner. Second, bullshit. A teenager can say, that was my mistake with no excuse attached. It's already ahead of most teenagers and many adults. Here's what most parents get backwards. Ownership isn't trained by how often mistakes happen. It is trained by the adult's response to the mistakes made by the students. If we choose to punish the honesty because of the mistake made, we are telling our teenagers, we're telling our kids to hide the next mistake made. Ownership grows fastest when the consequence is proportionate and the response is always calm. So in my household, and even though my kids are not teenagers just yet, whenever mistakes happen, we would often respond and we do our best to respond in a calm way. A plate drops and it breaks. There is no shouting, yelling, you made a mistake, clean up the mess, yada yada. It is being checking on the kid. We ask, are you okay? And we ask them next, do you need any help to clean up the mess? If they say they don't need to, what we'll do is we'll just hand over the equipment needed, like the broom, to assist and to give them a chance to clean up the mistake that was made. And all this isn't a big outburst of anger. It is all done very calmly. Number three, honesty. You can't lead people you have to lie to, and you can't lead people who cannot trust what you say. Honesty under low stakes predicts honesty under high stakes. Teenagers test us in small, low risk moments first, like how the school day went, and parents who overreact to a small, honest disclosure teach the teenager to start filtering what they're sharing. So I personally encourage my students and my own children to be honest about what they have done. But what happens next always matter more to me. And similar to what I shared about earlier, I stay calm and and I'm quite measured. And in continuing to do so and in continuing this disposition of calmness, I allow them to continually be honest with me. In the moments where I let my anger show, that's exactly when they begin to filter their answers. And once they filter, the trust really starts to break. And this one sits on the adults. It is on us to control our emotion, our reaction, and think of the long game. And for those of you who have issues and have difficulty controlling your emotion, you might want to do this. Take a deep breath. And if the space around you causes you to be very anxious, you might want to leave the space and calm down first before you return to that space. How the adults, yourselves, ourselves, receive the small truth, whether you will hear the next large ones subsequently. Fourth, follow through. Starting is easy. Every teenager can really start something. Leadership is revealed in what they finish once it stops being fun. Follow through gets tested at exactly the point where the initial motivation runs out. And schools see this all the time. CCA leadership roles that start strong in term one probably might begin to fade by term three. And in term four, when the weighted assessments come about, they start getting quite dreadful and they don't want to continue anymore. To be honest, commitment is something that I see lacking in a lot of young people in this day and age. And I make a real point of building it in my own children in the enrichment activities that they chose themselves, or maybe even what my wife and I want, because we want them to have a stronger body. And what they want usually are the robotics lessons, whereby my wife and I feel that they need to grow strong in their body and learn some self-defense, which is why we give them taekwondo lessons. If they start, if they choose to start it, they follow through and finish it. Because I believe that when you do something in an incomplete fashion, it is a waste of resources. This brings me back to the numerous times I've been to Johor Bahru, which is just across the causeway, and I see unfinished buildings. And I just feel sad about the use of resources, time, money, materials that are just built and it is left to rot, left to waste because they weren't committed to finishing it, either by lack of calculation or they just chose to give up halfway. So ask what finishing looks like to the kid before they start, not when they stall. So trustworthy leadership is not louder, it is steadier. Reliability without reminders. Ownership without excuses. Honesty and follow through, especially when nobody is watching. So if you've reached all the way to this part of the video, here are some concrete action plans that you can take. Step 1, this week, hand your teenager a small recurring responsibility and give them no reminders and sit back, observe. This week, the next time they own up to a mistake, thank them for the honesty, cool yourself down, and allow them to address the mistake. Step 3, this week, before they start something new, ask them to define what that finished product looks like. And use this time to write it down together. So if this video helped you see your teenager in a slightly different light, the next one in this whole series looks at why some student leaders look strong right up until responsibility starts to test them. That's usually the moment trustworthy leadership either proves itself or quietly falls apart. And for a simple home framework, you can start using the Personal Leadership Link Guide from the link which is found in the description below. And if you have enjoyed content like this and you would like to learn more on how to help your youth, because you could be somebody that engages youth, like a teacher, or you work at a youth organization, or you're a parent who is concerned about your own child, and I know I am both at the same time, you might want to consider liking this video, subscribing to the video, and if any questions about what there is, you might want to comment. And I highly encourage you because I do read every single comments that come through my way. Thank you very much, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.